First Nations TV, your news first.
As we're all aware, Dargaragu was evacuated to Kalkaringi and has had significant flooding. I'm advised that every building in that community has been impacted. Pigeonhole, the community of Pigeonhole, has been evacuated to Kalkaringi and that has seen that community evacuated. Kalkaringi itself presently has hundreds of people there, but an evacuation is in process. The issue with Kalkaringi is we have got some flooding of properties in some locations, but it has impacted the essential services, so our sewerage and power, so that's the impact for Kalkaringi. We've got about 700 people in Kalkaringi that we need to evacuate to Katherine and then on to Darwin. 35 people were evacuated last night. They were people that were medically vulnerable. They were taken to Katherine and health helped care for a number of those people in the Katherine community, and some came through to Darwin to the Foskey Pavilion. We're very much in that response phase and caring for people and making sure that we're getting them into a safe location. And yes, we'll then need to send those recovery teams out, make assessments on the damage and what needs to be done. In some situations, it's not so much the housing infrastructure that's been damaged, it's essential services such as power and water, sewerage and electricity. Just in terms of residents from these communities, when they are at the evacuation centres in Darwin, we will be providing education. Students will be taken to a number of the local Darwin primary schools, Wallagi Primary School, Malak Primary School and Nightcliff Primary School. We'll also have the Families as First Teachers program running, FAFT as we more commonly call it, for our little ones. So very much providing these people who have seen their homes devastated by these floods and getting them to safety and providing them with much support as possible.
An emergency declaration remains in force for Kalkaringi, Dargaragu, Yarralin and Pigeonhole and Palumpa communities.
Emergency nya ma Salman ko Dargaragu Yarralin Nikpuro Palumpa.
The floodwaters at Kalkaringi are receding and have now reduced down to a moderate level.
Nyama Purngat ma imjak karanala Salmanda.
Dargaragu and Pigeonhole communities have all been now evacuated to Kalkaringi, awaiting evacuation to Katherine.
Salman nginyima Dargaragu nginyi Nikpuro nginyima jam sana bolat nal kajaranjire.
As the Chief has indicated, some evacuations were undertaken yesterday and some more this morning.
Yesterday nginyima start tigim barkara and chala alibala.
With the assistance of the ADF, we hope to get majority of residents out today.
Katarami maboya album barolobat chala na jai try kira mulat outside from Salman.
There will be some residents that will remain in the evacuation centre in Kalkaringi overnight.
But sambala tubdal still liwat chengi jingala nyanga til alibala.
All residents will be moved to Katherine, where they will get bus transport to Darwin. The only community that's not being evacuated was Palumpa, and they remain in community.
And people from Palumpa.
We have survey and assessment teams in all communities.
Survey and assessment team everywhere community.
And that's to make sure that the infrastructure is safe for people to return.
Make sure people can go back.
And we don't know when that will be until some of the flood waters reside.
We don't know what time to.
But it's important that we do that assessment to make sure people are safe.
But it's important to another assessment.
Extra resources have been deployed to those communities to assist. Local emergency committees have been stood up both in the Barkly and Northern region.
Emergency Northern Barkly region.
And that's just to be in a state of preparedness to make sure
that
in case things certainly are worsened in those areas.
Just in case happening in the area.
We appreciate this is quite stressful for residents in those communities.
We didn't like Monday happy for community.
And just implore that everybody that we're here to keep people safe and make sure that they remain safe.
For a hard time and make sure everybody's here and
and we'll work 24 hours in the EOC until this weather event.
Got emergency services map.
Until this weather event is finished.
Till now weather I'm going
just to remind residents to leave domestic pets outside of residences.
And make sure
and we'll arrange that they are fed whilst you are absent.
Nganga we kirim jam najalat kade ba kam karap kara jam wado ko keberulat mangari nyamba wan jam animal.
And remind everyone to remain off the regional roads.
And don't go along a road.
Only travel if you have to or as an emergency.
Only travel if you have to go on yonder or emergency ka kuya.
And remain out of flooded rivers and creeks.
And don't go la pulngait ngawanga darogap kara nyamba wen.
If it's flooded, forget it.
Even pulngait, don't worry about it.
We want to make sure you're safe.
Want to make sure you do your mandat chiran safe.
For the residents of Yarralin, we are evacuating vulnerable people, so people that are...
Yaralin ko magwem jaragap kara, all people go and vulnerable people go kuya.
Thank you. So just for the residents of Yarralin, I know they're a little anxious. The advice is that Yarralin is okay.
Yaralin yung mandat jata mamar kuya jaragap, but ngala we ngairap kara chinga but ngawaw pulngat ko.
But those a little less mobile, we're taking that extra precaution.
And like when I yamak pani, we take that extra proportion kuya.
Shanna Gamble, Bureau of Meteorology. So overnight we have seen some rain around Kalkarinji.
Ngijingalamas that ibo even pulled lang salman.
And the river came up with that rain.
Ngilang ibo ngiji ngila mangawa may kam kangolen.
But not as high as it was yesterday.
But in about high like yesterday ngiji kuya.
The river is now going down quite quickly.
That ngawa may gone down.
It has dropped below major.
Even go and rat and under that major na.
We still have a flood warning for Kalkarinji.
We still jiran karap ngila flood warning go. Salban go ma.
So the upper Victoria River has had a lot of rain.
Kangola na that Victoria River jabana mogari in ebuma.
And that rain will move down into the lower catchment.
Ngilang ngiji move down ganyor under that catchment.
River levels are rising.
Ngawa mangalan ma river may kon kangola kara.
And will continue to rise over the coming
And
days.
it keep kon go about next couple of days ngalan.
The tropical low is continuing to move east,
The tropical low im keep kon moving east.
taking heavy rain and wind away from the western.
Digim ngila majat purip manjat ibo ma western.
Yep. But it is taking the heavy rain and strong winds into the Barkly region.
Im keep kon gat ngila na purip yang and ibo yang la Barkly area.
Tennant Creek has had nearly 90 millimetres of rain overnight,
Tennant Creek man 90 millimeter ngijingal majaban abim jak.
but this was more gentle rain over a long time.
Like nyama bagay rain gentle one soft one go over that time.
Some places have had more heavy rain in that area.
Samlat na ja plate jaban abim mogari ibo majak kara.
We expect that over the next few days, the Barkly will get heavier rain.
Ngalang go expect him but more ibo gari jala Barkly ko ya.
As the low moves further east into that area.
Nyana wajat law im kon keep kon kalo keep kon jara lang Barkly area.
We currently have a severe weather warning
We got a weather warning
for most of the Barkly region
for ngila na Barkly area.
and some parts of the Gregory, Tanami and Carpentaria.
Carpentera, Tanamai, and Gregory.
That warning is for heavy rainfall and damaging winds.
Ngilama po ipo, Jangari one, and Purip, damaging one.
A flood watch is current for most of the Northern Territory
Flat na pulngat ko watch may ngilanga.
because with this heavy rain, we could expect localised flooding.
Nyana katis Jangari rain, nigan gari. We give me ready for more gari pulngat.
We have a flood warning for Kalkarinji
Flood warning im till Jeb or Salman,
and a flood warning for Daly River.
and flood warning for Daly River.
Thank you.
First Nations TV, your news first.